The principal purpose of marriage is help. Please understand this. You are going into marriage to help. A lot of people enter into marriage with the mindset to receive. Understand that you are going in to help, not necessarily to be helped. You must correct this mentality. Today, we have a lot of takers and not givers. It has been discovered. Most people abandon their spouse when their spouse needs help most. It is so unfortunate when your spouse needs help most is actually when you abandon your spouse. How do you know your partner needs help? Even when your partner will not acknowledge he needs help. Man in his perfect state, God said he needs help. Man that has not sinned, God said he needs help. And that he can't be alone. So what are you talking about? He doesn't need to agree. Even woman in her perfect state needs help, companionship, understanding. But after study upon study, they came to the conclusion that most times couples abandon each other. And you know, when you break an edge, what will happen? A serpent will bite. People break the edge when they should close in the edge. In fact, this is where real marriage really happens. How do you know your husband needs help now? How do you know your wife needs help now? Number one, when you are angry with your spouse. When you are angry with your spouse, number one, is a sign your spouse needs help. That is the time your spouse needs you most. That is the time your spouse needs you most. That's the time. Unfortunately, that's the time people turn away. Whatever he has done, whatever she has done that made you angry is a sign there is need for help. Unfortunately, that becomes the very reason you end the ministry that God sent you to the marriage to carry out. If you are angry with your spouse needs help. In fact, it will test your wisdom, your capacity to solve problems, your ability to handle issues. Marriage will test your patience, whether you have it. All the virtues you have, marriage will test it. In fact, marriage is the first exam that will, as it were, score your wisdom level. Your marriage will expose your folly. Let anybody be saying you are a good person. Let your spouse talk. Number one, when you are angry with your spouse. What is number two? When you disconnect from your spouse. Is the real time you should connect with your spouse. Is the real time you should what? Connect with your spouse. Yes. Is the real time you should connect. And finally, number three, which is to be a summary of the first and second, when you feel like giving up on the marriage. When you feel like giving up on the marriage, when you feel like giving up on the marriage, or close certain chapters on the marriage. When you feel like giving up on the marriage, that look, forget it. Let him be, let me be. I will just be here for the sake of our children. Stop threatening each other with divorce. Divorce is marital amputation, is destiny amputation. Yeah. You may have a perfect home and still scatter it by yourself. Rise up on your feet.